Yo, 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 what's up? Thanks for waiting. We we live on a Tuesday. It's my first live on a Tuesday. Um I'm gonna start going live on Tuesdays too as well. So this is just like a new segment. It's just me. I do have a spot open here for anybody that wants to join in the chat. So if you I'll let anybody join in. So if you in the chat and you want to join in, let me know in the chat or just shoot me a DM on IG, and then I can send you the link and you can pop in. And then you can pop in. Pop in, pop in. Yo, what up, man? All right, this is the boxing news segment on my live Casual Experts podcast. I'm Mike Theory. Yeah, so let's talk about it. We got the pound for pound rankings out. Um, Updated new pound for pound rankings just dropped. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up. So 10. Yeah, we are starting from 10, and then we'll go up to 1. Feel free to jump in the chat. Like, let me know what your thoughts on these rankings are. For me, it's a little suspect. There's a lot of things I would switch around. Uh, First, number 10 is we got Emmanuel Navarrete. Man, he's an exciting fire. He's an exciting fire for sure. He's wild pressure, high volume punching. He's equal. I pretty much just equal like a nightmare style, right? People when they know they're gonna fight Navarrete, they know they're going in for a war. They know they're going into somebody that throws from awkward angles, and that's kind of really hard to prepare for. Um, but at number 10, moving in at number 10, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not like 100% sold on it, but I'm also not 100% against it. It's just like it's a little more of an indifference. Um, Definitely got some holes in the defense, but he does get hit way too clean for somebody that's like ranked number 10 pound for pound. But what the thing that concerns me the most of him being at number 10 is just the inconsistency. The inconsistency that he shows. Some nights he just looks unbeatable, and then there's other times where he's just kind of shaky. That's like for him being at number 10 is just the inconsistency of the fights. But like, he is fun as hell to watch, but he's just not. I don't feel like he's like to say that he's an elite fighter. I don't feel like it's that's safe to say that yet. But a number 10, I'm not mad. If he was higher on the list, then okay, let gotta reevaluate this stuff. Because then you got like somebody like Oscar Collazo that's ranked number 9, right? I feel like he's just Oscar Collazo. He's just extremely polished technician. He has an elite timing and accuracy, so it's just like a different type of fighter. But the thing that hurts him is he's at a lower weight class. He's a smaller guy, so it's just hard for the lower weight classes. It's always been like that, smaller weight classes to get the shine. But him at number 9, I completely agree. I don't see anything right there for him. He just needs that bigger name. But fighting somebody in his weight class that has a big name, um, for him to put on like a good show is hard. It's extremely hard. Devin at 8, yeah, that's cool. Devin's at 8. Devin's Devin. It's just right now he's coming off that Brian Norman Jr. win, which is cool. He put on a good performance, but I feel like he's still trying to gain momentum after that Ryan Garcia fight. He just hasn't got back on track. I feel like he'll get there. It's just depending who he fights next. Um, it's just that now he just has like a lot of questions, right? Critics are questioning how he handles real pressure exchanges now. So if he gets into a firefight like that, um, like, that's the question. Yo, shout out to Anthony in the chat for sure. Yeah, Fedor makes a lot more sense than Navarrete at number 10. Like Navarrete is like he's an exciting fighter, right? Like he's I'm watching his fights because it's gonna be he's just awkward and you know what type of style he's bringing. But for sure, Fedor has two bouts, right? You just beat Keith Thurman. Yeah, you can say what you want about whatever Keith Thurman, but he went in there and he did what he's supposed to do. Like the older fighter, he's the younger fighter. He fought the older guy. He fought former champion. Also, the power is the last thing to go. So for sure, but he went out there and he barely got touched. Well, he got touched a little bit, but man, he went out there and he did exactly what he did. He took Keith Thurman out. Like he took him out. He stopped him. And for that, I feel Fedor should be on. Yeah, great call, Anthony. Fedor at 10 over Navarrete. Yeah, like, and then for sure makes way more sense. Fedor being at 10 than Navarrete being at 10. It just because look, and then you got Haney's cool. David Benavidez will move up to David Benavidez number 7. I feel like David Benavidez should be a lot higher on that list. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like that's why at number 10 is like kind of hard to swallow is because of the inconsistencies, right? There's times where he just looks like damn, like he looks really good, right? He looks like he can be that elite level fighter. But then there's times where when he fights, it's just like it's shaky. Like what? Like elite level fighters know how to adapt to situations and they know how to find ways to win, right? And so, yeah, he finds his way to win, but it's just how he does it, the performance, like how he does it, and it's I don't know. And then you got Fedor. Look at him, coming back after the knockout and doing what he's doing. He looks unbeatable right now at 154. He looks unbeatable at 154, and that's his right now. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, Boots is coming up, but 154 is Fedor's division. Without question, Fedor at 154 is the man, and you have to beat the man to be the man. So Boots can say what he wants to say about being the cash cow, and he's the one that's gonna make the biggest fights. That's fine. You can say that, but you're not proven at 154. Like that's a fact. You're not proven at 154 yet. You have guys that been at 154 for a while. You got Xander. He's been at 154. He's proven at 154. He got two bouts. Virgil's proven at 154. He's fought, you know, the top guys at 154. He doesn't have a belt. Yeah, okay, cool. But he's fought the guys. He's fought the guys at 154. Fedor's been at 154. Yeah, I'm not saying Boots is trash. I'm not. That's not nothing. I'm not saying that Boots is a good fighter, and he got power. Yes, he has all the attributes, but he's not proven at 154. So you can talk what you can talk, and you can say what you want to say, but at 154 you're not proven yet. We're gonna find out when he fights Xander Zayas what exactly you can do at 154. After that fight, then you can say you can talk. But you saying you're the cash cow 154 is crazy because if Fedor fights Virgil, that's just as big. That's a bigger fight than Boots and Xander. From like that's just my opinion, right? Is if Fedor and Virgil get announced next week, that's a bigger fight. That's a bigger fight than Xander and Boots. Like that's gonna. And so who's the cash cow? Is it Boots? Is it Virgil? Is it Fedor? Like you have to have two guys, two names on that bill in order for that fight to be big, right? And that's all I'm saying. But let's go. For me, Benavidez should be higher. Nakatani is cool. You know, he's cool. He's just it's kind of in the same boat as like a Calazo, smaller weight class. Those guys, it's just hard for them to get the mainstream attention. But Nakatani's cool. He got the power. Yeah, he got clean power. He's composed under pressure and stuff like that. But he's still climbing the ladder, the competition ladder, and he does this Inoue fight is gonna be like what he needs a crossover name on the resume. Shit, Virgil versus Spence in Texas is bigger than Boots versus anyone with 54. Virgil versus Spence is bigger. I don't know about it if it's bigger than anyone at 154 because if Virgil and Boots fought, that would be a big fight, right? Um, it would be. It's a big fight just because of Spence has a name. Do I? That's is that the fight that I want to see? Nah, nah. Like I'm fine with Spence and Zoo fighting. Like that makes sense. That makes perfect sense for both of those guys, and it makes sense for Spence because more for Spence I think just because Spence hasn't fought in how many years, and he's coming and he's fighting a tough guy. Zoo's not no pushover. Zoo's gonna go in there and fight, and if Spence can go out there and look like old Spence before the Crawford fight, then that gets his name back in the conversation right away. That's like a jump start. You go in there, you take out Zoo in like 4 or 5 rounds. That's a big statement. And that puts him right back in the mix of things and talking. But if he goes out there and he struggles with Zoo and he struggles and it goes to decision and it's like a split decision or something like that, then you can call it ring rust. You can call it if you see flashes. It's all depends how he performs, right? Uh, but Virgil and Spence, that would be a big fight. But that's just good. That just like carves out another avenue of conversation or a narrative of Virgil's ducking, right? But that's nonsense. I don't Virgil. I don't think none of these fighters duck each other. Like they all fight. They're all fighters. Um, I feel like it's more strategic. You're building up a fight. Like I feel okay, Virgil, Xander, and Boots, right? Say let's just say Boots beats Xander. Boom, now he got 2 bouts. And then you go Virgil goes and fights Spence, and then he fights Findora, and say he beats Findora. Now he got bouts, and then they go and fight for undisputed Boots and Xander. Then you go back during this build up. You go back to the whole falling out of the fight, right? The lawsuits, them talking about ducking each other at 147 and 154, you guys moving up. Boots was chasing Virgil because like all this narrative, all that crazy talk, all that becomes a big conversation, and it becomes on how you build a fight, and all that narrative, all that talk is for it's just promotion, right? It's building the fight. So it's just a storyline to build the fight, which is cool. Like I like that type of stuff, and that's what makes people draw in more, and then that's how you get bigger recognition. More like it's just better that way. And I feel this way, how everything's playing out, it's gonna be beneficial for both Virgil and Boots if they're both take care of what they need to take care of in their next fights, and then they can meet up later on with belts because them fighting each other right now with no belts is like, yeah, it's cool. And you get to see somebody's, and it's the zero, right? Or somebody's always got to go and all that type of stuff. But I feel like them fighting each other with belts, 1 bout, 2 bouts, all 4 bouts, like whatever it is, that's a bigger fight. That's a bigger payday. And if they both have 2 bouts, then it has to be 50-50. Like there's no arguing about A side and B side. Yeah, there probably will still be because you know you know how it is. But and then so we'll go. Let's move up to the. We'll go from 5 and up. This is where like actually 7 and up. 7 and up. No pun intended. But this is where it gets tricky. Like my favorite fighter right now is Bam. So I'm gonna be biased as hell on this one. Bam Rodriguez at number 4 is crazy to me. Uh, yeah, I'm not gonna put him higher than Inoue or Usyk, but I feel like Bam should be at number 3. Shakur Stevenson, yeah, he's a great fighter. Um, I really don't see anybody beating him anytime soon. And or yeah, I don't know. I don't see anybody really beating him, but it's just because of the way he fights, his style. It's tricky. It's hard. It's defensive minded first. So defense is minded fighters is they're harder to beat, and he's fast, and he's fast. Let me jump you in. Okay. All right, we're gonna have our. Dun, 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 dun. I'm gonna shoot the link right now. Give me a second. I know. I should still be talking, and so I can carry the live a little bit, but I'm trying to. I'm not that good of a multitasker. That's why I don't. I try not to text and drive because. Let's boom. All right. I just send you. Did I? Let me see. Did I send it to the right person? Yeah. I sent it to you. I sent it to Anthony. All right. All right. Cool. I sent you the link. Um, and then we'll see them pop up right now on the screen shortly. For sure. Yeah. No problem. Um, once you pop in, I'll see it on my screen. Then I'll accept you in. But yeah. For me, from seven and up, I feel David Benavidez should be higher. Of course, I'm gonna be biased on Bam Rodriguez for sure. Um, so back to what I'm saying, I think Bam should be Bevo's fine at five. Maybe Bevo's higher as well, just because of the like Shakur. Shakur is good, right? He's a good fighter, but and the what he did to Teofimo Lopez, yeah, he should be in the pound for pound. But moving up to number three in the pound for pound rankings is crazy work, right? Because Teofimo Lopez wasn't even ranked in the pound for pound list when they fought. So having beat Teofimo, does that get you moved up to be number three when Tio wasn't even ranked in the pound for pound list? Uh, I am not taking nothing away from Teofimo Lopez. I am not. Teofimo is a great fighter. He's he's he has the bouts. Let's go. Yo. We got we got him in the we got him from the chat. We in. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Are you catching feedback?
Nah. You sound good
Okay. Good,
for
man.
sure. What's up, man? How's everything?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. I'm
For
good.
sure. Hey, how's everything going?
Good.
Good. All right, man. So what's
Good,
your
bro.
thoughts then? Yeah, what's your thoughts?
Let me turn off the YouTube. Give me 1 second. All right.
Okay.
That's what it was. I had the YouTube streaming, so I
Oh,
was
okay.
catching feedback. I was catching a delay on it. Nah, man,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
good. I think like what you were saying, number 10's a little sus, but
Yeah.
even nine, I mean, and then of course with Bam, I think Bam just doesn't get that love because fighters in those lighter divisions have never
Yeah,
got that love, man.
for
They've
sure.
never they've never got that love, man. But he definitely deserves to be higher up than four, I believe, man.
Yeah.
With his accomplishments and what he's done, definitely needs to be a little higher. And I'm gonna hit play on my phone so I can see the comments. I'm just gonna drop the volume down. All right.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like right now, I'm biased when it comes to Bam. Like I'll say that I don't have no problem saying that. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. It's because when it comes to like boxing, like not just like when it comes to just pure boxing, I'm not talking about his power. I'm not talking about like because if you watch him, he got the knockouts. He has all the highlight stuff. But when it comes to just pure boxing, and yeah, he's smaller, so he moves faster. But the way he sets up his angles, the way he moves, the way he sets up the punches and the traps, that's like if you're introducing somebody to the sport and they've never watched boxing and maybe they watch like UFC or maybe they watch like the Jake Paul stuff, like especially like a young kid, I would show them Bam Rodriguez. Like to get somebody into the sport that's never really watched boxing, I'm showing them like that's the one I'm showing him his highlights or I'm showing him a fight. Hey, look at this cat. Look at Bam Rodriguez. They watch him, you're like, oh shit, like people fight like that? I'm like, yeah, man. Like, okay. And then
That's ring general shit, man.
for sure.
That's the knowledge. That's that's the art of prize fighting right there. Hit and not get hit. And be able to
Yep.
have defense, to have power, to be able to box and engage when he has to engage, and know even sometimes even like with a guy Ostrada when he got dropped
Yeah.
to understand, hey, I got to go back and box, make adjustments, come back, make the adjustments, and then dominate that fight. Make the adjustments during the fights. The only person I see that does those type of adjustments, and I'm not saying he's on the same skill level as Tank. Tank's pretty good about
Yeah.
sucking in what's going on, man.
Hmm.
Absorbing it like a sponge and making the adjustments mid fight.
Yeah.
The way he caught Ryan, the way he caught Leo Santa Cruz. That's the kind of thinking that Bam has, but Bam has overall everything, man.
Everything.
Whether it's
Yeah.
defense, whether it's offense, whether it's boxing, if he needs to stand toe to toe with you, he'll stand toe to toe with you and kick your ass.
Yeah.
That's
No, for
Bam.
sure. Yeah, Tank does that. Tank has that attribute, and he relies. I feel like he relies on that attribute way too much. When he gets in, if when you start getting into fighters that have that same attribute where they can download information really fast and they can make adjustments on the fly. When you get into when you fight maybe like a Shakur Stevenson, that's where it gets tricky, right? Yeah, Tank has that power, but then you're also finding another guy that has that same mindset, that same mind, but also maybe fast, but has a speed advantage. And so like when that's why that fight would be make so much is intriguing, right? A Tank and a Shakur because they're able to make adjustments, because they're able to read information. But the thing
Yeah.
is, Tank doesn't have like the angles and all that other stuff. Yeah,
No. And Shakur may have them.
mhm.
He just doesn't display them the way he should.
Yeah,
Shakur's the type of fighter that if you're fighting him and you throw five punches around, he's gonna throw seven just to win that round.
yep,
Even though the food's in front of him and he can eat, he's not going to. He's
no,
gonna take his time. He's gonna maybe work on a few things or something and not get rid of what's in front of him. And that's what pisses me off with Shakur. He's
yeah,
so talented. He has so much boxing knowledge, but he doesn't display it, man. I don't know if it's just not
yeah,
having that killer instinct, but when there's fighters that are in front of him that he should be dismantling, he doesn't do it. And I think that's what pisses
yeah,
people off. Oh, he put me to sleep in this fight or whatnot. You don't get paid overtime in boxing, man. And I'm
yeah,
not saying to go out there and look for the knockout, but if you can hit this guy with a five, six, seven punch combination and continue to do it throughout the round, do it.
yeah,
Why pitter patter?
for
Why play
sure.
with your food, man? Go out there and do it. And to me, that's my critique on Shakur, and I think
Yeah,
he just doesn't entertain the way he can without
yeah,
getting hurt because he's smart. He's not going to get hurt.
no,
He's not putting himself in that type of danger, but he's doing just enough to get by. And I think that's what
yeah,
I mean. I can't speak for everybody, but for me as somebody that's watched a lot of boxing, he kind of has that Cuban style, that old school the Rigondeaux style, where he's just doing enough to get by. And it's like, come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
man, like
He,
it gets
he reminds
frustrating when you
me.
have somebody with that, man.
Yeah, no, he's like it's like that having like a kid, like having a kid and he's in school and he's smart when you go to the parent teacher conference or like, hey man, like he finishes all his work before everybody. He does everything right. He's like smart. But then when it comes to his test scores, he's like, oh, he gets C's. Like because he wants to
Yeah,
hurry up and finish and go play with his friends, right? Let's just get this done. Like
exactly.
and it's like, man, like you have so much potential, and he showed it against the Teofimo Lopez fight, right? He showed what he can do, and I feel like he just never stepped on the gas. Like I feel like if he stepped on that gas, he could have had the opportunity to take out Teofimo Lopez. Like
Yeah.
he did whatever he wanted in that fight, and Teofimo, uh, he's a great fighter as well. Like I don't want to like talk bad about him, but like he just was making no adjustments in that fight. And for somebody that's beat a Lomachenko, that had these great performances against the Josh Taylors and the Lomachenkos, like he didn't look like it. He didn't look like that type of fighter in that fight. And it's just like when you have that much control in a fight, you need to you need to switch gears a little bit, like slow the pace down, speed it up, slow, and so to make that other opponent like tired, like you don't,
Yeah.
yeah, you don't. There's ways to knock out an opponent without risking it, right? You control the momentum, control the pace of the fight. When you're controlling the pace of the fight, you're making the other fighter fight on your time. And yeah, he might have endurance, but when you're controlling that pace and you're making him do what you want him to do, that's exhausting to them. And so and that's what people say about, "Hey, let's drag them to deep waters." They don't mean let's go all 12 rounds. They no, they make they're saying we're gonna go as many rounds as you can go at my pace. I'm gonna drag you at my pace, and then when it's time, you when it's time, you'll see the moment, and then that's when you take them out. And he just never did it. Like he never pushed the pace where he could have took him out.
You know, with the type of fighter like Shakur, right, going up against Teofimo, his offense could have been his best defense. If he's worried about getting hit, his offense is you jab, man, you catch and shoot, you jab, you
Yeah,
keep him off balance before he can get set. Like you said, that gets tiring for somebody,
yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And then what's going to happen is Teofimo's going to rush in, make a mistake, and then he can get countered. And he could easily, countered him and hurt him. And, it could have been a lot worse for Teofimo, I think.
yeah.
It played out the way I thought it was going to play out, but just because of the fact that, like, Shakur doesn't, like you said, he doesn't put his foot on the gas pedal, man.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why I feel like Shakur shouldn't be at three.
No,
First,
exactly.
yeah, first of all, Teofimo wasn't even ranked in the pound for pound list when they fought. So it's like, yeah, I know you beat somebody that has the accolades as well, has the big name, and and Shakur needed this type of fight, the name, so he can display his skills, and then now he has more attention, he has more eyes on him, of course, but that still doesn't justify him moving up and passing Bam Rodriguez. Um, yeah,
I think
move him up on the list is fine, but not going all the way to number three.
I don't think you should just because it's a pound for pound list. Don't have to go off of divisional titles. Oh, he's a four division champion or whatnot. To me, it's you look at the overall picture. You look at how big is he like with the fans? What's his
Yeah,
record? How's he finishing the fights? What's he looking like? How entertaining is he? There's a lot more than just well, he's a four division champion and his skills are good. I mean, you you got to look at the whole picture, and I
yeah,
think that's what you're right. Honestly, I'd probably have Shakur probably around 6 or 7. I'd probably have him. I'd have Benavides before him. I've had Nakatani, Bibble, Bam, of course, but Shakur, there's really no justification except being a four division champion to have him at 3. And
yeah,
nothing else. And I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm not saying that he's not a great fighter. What
yeah,
I'm saying is if you look at what the other fighters have done, the way
yeah,
even Benavides, finishing off Porky Medina that time with like that 10 punch combo and putting them through the
yeah,
ropes. What Nakatani's doing down there in the lighter divisions. What Bibble has did. His accomplishments beating Canelo. And going to two
and then
great wars with Better Bia.
the
It's like you got to look at the bigger picture, and I don't get Shakur being that low.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. If it was me, I'm fine. Usyk of course is number one. That's automatic. Inoue, number two. Yep. Then for me, it'll be Bam at three. Uh, at four, it would be Beevil. then Nakatani at 6, Benavides at 7, and then Shakur at 8. Right? Is that am I right? Yeah,
Yeah.
Shakur at 8. No, no, Shakur at 7, right? Shakur at 7, and
Uh,
then Haney. Yeah, so I would just move Shakur to 7, then everybody move up one. So Bam to 3, Bevo to 4, Nakatani to 5, Benavides to 6, and then Stevenson
Shakur.
at 7, and then Haney, Colazo, and then I guess we leave Navarrete, but that Fundora at 10 makes a lot more sense. It's just I really don't. Doesn't Fundora who has the ring belt? Doesn't Fundora have the ring belt? He has the WBC and the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
He has the
man,
WBC in the ring.
yeah, so hey, come on, ring. Like he has your belt. He has the green belt and he has the ring belt. Like he should be like show him some love. Like show him some love. Like he should be there. Like he's defending your guys' belt. It's
Exactly. Like
yeah,
give him some love. You know,
yeah,
I want to see what the ring does with a with Jao Pataya. You know, I want to see if they follow their rules. You
yeah.
know, it's going to be 2 years. May 18th is going to be 2 years that he hasn't fought anybody in the top 15.
Yeah.
And the ring, you know, will usually take that strap from you if you don't. You know, I know they just signed. You know, Zupa signed a couple more fighters. You know, to
They got
give
this.
Opatai some
They,
competition. I think they signed Smith, Billum Smith.
yeah, they signed Bill and Smith, and then they signed that Canadian cat. But I think if they do, is Smith rank? He ranking the because he's a former champion. So
He's ranked two in the ring rankings, so
uh,
he's ranked high enough where he's ranked
if
high
if
enough
they
where
if they make that fight, then they
then
then
he can keep
they
his strap.
keep his strap. I feel like I don't know what's gonna happen over there, but I feel like the Conor Ben signing and then him trying to fight Ryan Garcia, it's eventually gonna have to gonna
So
have to build a they're gonna have to build a bridge or something because if they want to make that fight happen,
so I can tell you what's going on. I spoke to people from the WBC. The WBC is continuing to rank Zuffa fighters. They have not stopped ranking those fighters.
yeah,
So they're gonna go. I think that the first one that they had actually stopped ranking was Colin Walsh, but they're putting him back into the rankings. They're gonna continue to rank all the Zuffa fighters, and they're gonna give the ball to Dana. And they're gonna put the ball in his court and make
yeah,
him decide whether he wants to work with the sanctioning bodies and
yeah,
make these fights happen. But I think if the money, and this is me talking personally, you know, it doesn't have to, you know, anything to do with Supreme or anything, but
yeah,
personally speaking, I think with that money that comes from Turkey, he's going to want to recoup some of this money back, and Dana's going to have to play ball with the sanctioning bodies.
yeah,
That's just it. He doesn't have enough big name fighters
yeah,
in his organization. And don't get me wrong, man. I love Zuffa. I love what they're doing with the fighters, giving them a chance, giving them that
hmm
opportunity. I got a lot of homies that fight for Zuffa.
yeah.
Pablo Rubio, Leo Reese, you
Oh,
know, Abel
Pablo,
Mejia, you know, Kane
yeah, yeah,
Sandoval. I know a lot of these cats that are
yeah,
fighting and they're getting that opportunity. They're getting more money than they've gotten in a long time. You
for
know,
sure.
Pablo got that $50,000 bonus on his last
Yeah,
fight for coming
that
back.
fight that fight was crazy. I know both those guys, Pablo and Adon. I've had Adon on the podcast. I was there for a Pablo fight because I've worked closely with 360 Promotions, so I know Tom and Mike and Jay and all those guys over there at 360, and
Yeah,
so a lot of the guys are at Zuffa now, right? So pretty much not everybody, but
yeah,
majority of 360s at Zuffa now.
yeah.
So Kane and Omar Chen, all those guys, right? I know a lot of them. I've seen a lot of the fights, a lot of their fights in person. I've had a lot
You've
of
been
them
at the
been on the
wild card.
pod.
You've been at the wild card with them, you know, so
Yeah,
you've seen them,
yeah.
you
So
know.
it's cool. So that's why like I try to stay out of the conversations of with the Zuffa and all that because I'm first of all I'm a fan first, and for me the more boxing to watch is always a plus for me. And which is cool is like them having fights on Fridays or Sundays. It makes my job easier because I don't have to. I don't have to choose.
No,
Because yeah, all the big fights are on Saturday, right? All the big fights are on Saturday, and then oh shit, I get to watch Mosley Jr. and Sergey Boacek on a Sunday. Like, oh shit, okay. Like, what am I? I'm a barbecue on a Sunday. I'm gonna watch the fight. Like, that's it's cool.
exactly. You know, I think I know Chuck, man. I've known Charles a long time. I know Tom, same as
Yeah,
you, we've been at Wild Card together. Mike, Mike Styles,
yeah,
them giving you guys shout outs, man.
yeah,
You and the homie out there, hey, Mike Theory in the house here at Commerce
yeah,
Casino, whatever. You know, cool dudes. I just
for
think
sure.
it's the upper shit that's above their pay grade that they really can't speak on, and they
Yeah,
really can't give their feelings on anything, and I get it, and
yeah,
it's not personal because the co-owner of Supreme works for them, Hector,
yeah,
a big Hexar, so he's over there working with Zupa, and like I said, it's nothing personal, but it's just for me when you take a dig at the sanctioning bodies
yeah,
and the history of boxing. Is boxing flawed? Of course it is, man.
yeah,
And that's a subject, for a different time. I mean, we can get into all the flaws in boxing and carry on that conversation forever. But you gotta learn to work together, man.
yeah.
Learn to work together, and I'll leave it at that,
No, yeah,
And they
for
know,
sure.
I've had my conversations with Chuck and those guys too. So
Yeah,
and it's tough too because when you got one owner, one of the owners that works. There's three of us in Supreme, me, Nancy, and Hector. So you got one that works for the WBC, and you got one works for Zupa, and there
yeah,
I am in the middle. It's tough, bro. Especially
yeah,
because I love boxing, and I got homies that fight
yeah,
for Zupa, and I do feel a certain type of way for the WBC as well. I mean, and
yeah.
Mauricio and the whole Suleiman family.
No,
So
okay. No, like same. So like 360s, they extended their hand to me and Icon,
yeah,
and they showed us nothing but love, and so and then all the guys, I have nothing but love for them, and then now there was Zuffa, so like my heart's over there, like hey, like those guys, there was Zuffa, they show me love, so I'm over there. But growing as a boxing fan, growing up, for me, I don't care what anybody says, the green belt has always been the belt. And
yeah,
so, like, yeah, the IBF is cool and the WBO, like, they're all cool bouts. But for me, it's like, all right, who has the green belt? Who has the green belt? Okay, that's the guy. That's the guy. So I don't
yeah.
care. And that's so when I first got introduced to boxing when I was a little kid, that was like, oh shoot, that's the green belt. Okay. And growing up, it's always the person that the fighter that has the green belt in whatever division he is, that's the man. And like and it's never really been said, but that's just always the aura around, right? It's the
Yeah.
WBC is that's the green belt. Like
Even
you
even
don't
that
you
picture
don't
with Floyd, where he has all
yeah.
his belts laid out.
Mm,
It's all the WBC belts, man. First and
yeah.
foremost, all the
Yep.
WBC belts he's collected over the years on his
Yeah.
pool table. You think of Chavez, you think of Mike Tyson, you think, people like that of that era. For me, it was like more like Michael Carbajal and all that. Oscar came later,
Yeah.
of course, but it's always been the green belt, and I think a lot
Yep.
has to do too because it comes from Mexico, comes from Mexico City, that Mexican style of fighting, and the
Yep.
WBC, so definitely, man, definitely agree with you there.
Yeah. Well, also with the like speaking on like the Zuffa with Dana and stuff, I feel like if you kind of like watch what he does, and then especially how he's built the power slap, he does have a lot of like influencers around, right? He has like the Nelk Boys and all these other like podcasters around him right now, and so coming into a new sport and you're trying to build a brand that's already established with these sanctioning bodies. And what's something that people do nowadays to get traction when they post, right? Everything's clickbait, everything's trolling.
Yeah,
So for him coming out like, I'm not working with the sanctioning bodies, da da da. What does that get? I guess everybody riled up. I guess everybody talking about Zuffa boxing. That gets everybody, and no matter if it's negative or not, like you get all these things, and then all of a sudden, oh, UFC signed with Paramount. Oh, Zuffa boxing's with Paramount Plus. Like you get all these headlines. So it's like, and then now you signing Opataya, you're signing Conor Ben, you're signing fighters that are ranked in these other sanctioning bodies. So it's like, okay, eventually they're gonna work together. And then you got them saying, I want these bouts. Like I'm here to chase the bouts. I'm here to collect bouts. And then now they're signing Conor Ben, and he's on ESPN with First Take talking about I want Ryan Garcia. Dana White sitting right
Yeah,
next to him. So it's like, okay, like now it's starting to make sense of what's happening. You're just building the brand. You're trying to get eyes on you, maybe, and that's what you do. You start trolling, like you start trolling, and and that just gets people talking and fired up. And what's you get the most passionate conversations when somebody's angry or somebody feels they're wrong or and they feel deeply about something else, right? So that's how you get these conversations and these and they last longer. When somebody just likes something, like, yeah, that's cool. All right, cool. What's the next thing that's cool? All right, whatever. But when somebody like, nah, fuck him, like what the fuck is he
yeah,
talking about? Then you start getting these conversations, everybody starts spreading around, and then now everybody's talking about that one thing, right? And it's just like, and then that's the job that I'm in, right? I'm here on podcast, we're on live, and look at we're talking about it, and just like it
yeah,
just creates a
exactly.
narrative. So it's like, okay, now sitting back and looking at how things are unfolding, I'm like, all right, maybe I see what he was kind of doing. He's just getting the word out, building the buzz, and eventually he's gonna have to go in there and like, hey man, like let's fucking make this fight happen. Conor Ben versus Ryan Garcia. Do I feel like that fight should happen? No. I want to see Ryan Rowley. I want to see other. I don't. Do I feel Conor Ben beats any of those top guys at 147? No.
Nah,
Um, does he know how to use? Does he have a mouthpiece? Can he sell a fight? Yes. But we'll see what happens.
bro. Even
Yeah,
at a cash weight of like 145, I think Tito Mercado knocks him out.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, at 47, Brian Norman beats him. I
Hmm.
think
Oh yeah.
even Alexis Rocha, I think would be, I
Oh
think it'd be a good fight, and I think Alexis Rocha would
yeah.
be Arnold Barbosa would destroy him, at 47,
Yeah,
and
Barbosa will I'll box him to death.
easy,
He would,
easy, yeah.
especially the way Barbosa looked against his last fight. Like his jab was his snapping that fight, and then that his right had a magnet. Like it seemed like his
Sims never had
yeah
an answer.
no
I mean, his
nope
his last his last few fights, he's really put together. His boxing. He's really
yeah
showed his boxing skills. So yeah, definitely.
for sure. Let's I have another if you don't have nowhere to go. There's a
Nah,
I wanted to
let's
talk
do
about
it.
this. Yeah, the IBF orders Delgado to fight Lopez for the vacant junior welterweight title. Um, I
That
feel
that
like
surprised
this.
me. That
Yeah,
surprised me.
man. It surprised me because Teofimo already announced he's going up to 47, and also it's like that's just like a dig at Duarte. Like like why not give him the opportunity? Like
Well, I think what happened, and I'm gonna tell you why it surprised me, is that I know that Robert Garcia had came out and gave an article to Steve Cam talking about the dilemma. They're both, with Lindolfo Delgado and Duarte both being in camp. They were both in the training facility together this morning, and he didn't want that fight to happen. He's like, they're stablemates, they're buddies, they're brothers. I don't want this
yeah,
fight to happen.
yeah,
So I think, and I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think, there might have been some calls made, but like, let's go a different direction. Let's not put Duarte and Lindolfo in there together. But I do think that Duarte deserves it more than Lindolfo does right now. I think
yes.
Duarte, because of the way he got, basically left like the bride at
That's
the altar,
crazy.
with hitches
Yeah.
the day of the fight, man. Like, come on, man.
Yep.
So yeah, but yeah, I think the IBF, that should be Duarte, fighting, but with Teofimo moving up, going saying he's gonna go to 47.
Yeah.
Now I think that's where the predicament comes into play, especially like I said with Lindolfo and Duarte both being stablemates there with Robert Garcia.
Yeah. And it just puts Robert in a predicament. It's dang, where's there's this TV show. I don't know if you ever seen it. It's called Kingdom. It's a MMA TV show, and
Okay.
the trainer he's a retired MMA fighter, and then he has a son that he trains, and then he has another fighter that's a star. He was in the UFC, and then he got into drugs. He like moved out, and then now he's
Okay.
on the comeback. He's on the comeback. They end up they end up fighting for the belt, and he has to choose who's he gonna coach.
Ooh.
So the first time they fight, he's like, I'm not coaching nobody. You're gonna have this coach, and then the younger son is gonna coach the son of the fighter. So they fought. The son
Yeah.
ended up winning, and then the guy that's a star, right? He told the coach, he told the dad, like, hey, do you want to be my coach? And he's like, yeah, okay, well, be my coach then. And so they end up fighting again, and he chose that guy over his son. And it's like, dang, like
Oh.
this is crazy. So like, I feel like I know that Robert, those are not his kids, but like when you're a trainer, and especially when you're training fighters for so many years, you build a bond. You're in the gym with them, you're sweating, so you see him during that weight cuts, like all that time, and then when you have two guys fighting against each other, it's like how do you choose? Or like it's a tough
It's
decision.
tough.
But both of these guys want to be champions. Like, how do you take that away from them as well? So like, there's two sides to the coin. Like, I'm pretty sure if they wanted to, they're gonna go in there and fight. They probably sparred against each other. They do that. You're not like you go in there and you fight. It's a match. Like most you have that respect. It's not you're not doing it because I hate you. You're doing it because hey man, this is what we worked our lives for is to become a champion. And you guys sit down and talk it out. Hey, do you want to fight? Do you want to let's do this? Like, all right, let's do this. Like, all right. But then it comes like who's gonna train? Like not that's the whole thing. Like who's gonna train me? And it's we're not just talking about some average trainer from around the block. We're talking about one of the best
Yeah.
trainers in the world right now. So it's like, damn, like that's crazy.
Yeah. Does what Pita go in one corner and Robert go in the other? Like, what do you
Like,
do, man? Like,
yeah, that's
I mean,
crazy.
but at the end of the day, those are good problems.
Yeah,
If you're a
no,
trainer that two of your fighters are ranked
yeah,
that high, I mean, respect to Robert and what he's done and what he's accomplished with these fighters, man, and continues to grow a stable out there in Mobile.
yeah,
But man, yeah,
it's
it's
crazy.
what you so it's gonna be a good wait and see.
Hmm.
What how the IBF is gonna move on this, how DLPmo is gonna move, what he's gonna do. As far as going up to 47 or whatnot.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Yeah, because it was kind of like a curveball, and I seen it. I was like, "What? Like, why would you do that when you know that fighter? He's announced it, like he's made it publicly known that he's going to 47." But we'll
Yeah, I
see.
think because of the fact that you have to actually, submit a letter to the sanctioning body if you're a champion saying, hey,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to move up and these are my plans. I'm going to fight at 47 once. Can I keep my title and then go back to 40? I'm going to
Hmm.
try to maybe get an IBF title at 47, or I'm going to move there permanently. Go ahead and I want to go ahead and relinquish my title, kind of the
Yeah,
same way, Richardson Hitchens did,
yeah,
you have to basically go to that sanctioning body and let them know what you're gonna do. The same way, like if you want to be ranked, from a certain sanctioning body, you have to have your manager petition them and say, hey, this is who I am, this is how I want to be ranked, this is where I deserve to be. Take a look at it, and then, can you, please, include me, in the next ratings committee, the ranking committees, and I'll follow whatever directive you guys need. Like for the WBC, for instance, if you're ranked in the top 15, you have to be in the top 1, 5, 15. You have to be enrolled in 24-hour VADA. Those are the rules. So it's funny when I hear these people, oh, they're not VADA testing, or they're not no,
yeah,
they're already enrolled, bro, to be
yeah,
ranked in the top 15, because anybody in the top 15 can fight for a world title for the WBC. So they have to be enrolled in that VADA testing,
yeah.
so yeah.
And just for people that are kind of slow out there, he's referring to the champion, the WBC champion, Ryan Garcia. Like
Ryan Garcia. Yeah.
he's a champion now, so he's he's locked and loaded. Like
He's locked in. Yeah.
yeah, he's locked in. Like so, come on now. So the narrative of the Haney's to keep throwing out there that we want him tested, we want him tested. Like he's getting tested. Like
He's getting tested. Yeah, don't believe like you said, the hype, man.
yeah,
The clickbait, the shit to make people wanna they gotta sell it, man. They
yeah,
gotta sell these fights, especially, if Devin Haney decides to rematch him, to go up to 47 and rematch. Ryan, I think the fight sells itself, but you still gotta sell it, I mean, you want to
yeah.
get a lot of pay-per-views, you want to get this or that. Why do you think Back in the days, HBO had like the 24/7 and Showtime had the all access,
Yep.
you know. We
I
knew as
miss
boxing fans, say for
I miss
instance,
those
when Manny
days.
fought, yeah, when Manny fought Floyd, we knew that fight was gonna suck. We knew that
Yeah.
fight was over marinated. We knew that shit it wasn't gonna be about shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yet at that time, it sold 4.5 million pay-per-views. Why? Because of the same thing, like your the title of your thing, the casual experts, the casuals, man.
Yeah.
Boxing doesn't have a lot of diehard fans.
No.
Maybe 500,000, maybe
Maybe.
600,000 diehard fans.
Yeah.
The rest is casuals.
Yeah.
That's why you hear people, oh, boxing is dead. No, boxing is not dead. They're
No.
used to these big fights. They're used to kicking back with their tios and tias and barbecuing and, getting the black box and watching the fights. And,
Yeah.
you know the way we used to do it, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta sell it. You gotta sell it because
Yeah. You
in the
gotta.
United States, the
You have to
demographics
have
of
a
sports,
storyline. You have to have the
yeah, you gotta have
storyline.
it. You gotta sell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you got NBA going on, you got the Dodgers, you got hockey, the
Mm.
Kings right now. Everything's above boxing in the United States, man.
Yeah.
It's you got to be able to sell it. You got to be able to sell a fight. You got to be able to be have a fighter that's able to sell themselves as well. I went to both Kovalev Award fights. First one didn't sell out. The second one was at the Mandalay Bay, and that one didn't sell out. And at that time, they were the number one and number two pound for pound fighters in the world. And
Yeah.
and
But
it,
you
it
got
just
like
didn't get the
Ward.
backing of the US fans.
No, and then Ward. He's more popular now than he was when he was a boxer. It's
Yeah.
just like it sucks, but it like that's just how it is. And like right now, there's maybe two or three fights that have a good storyline and that would sell, right? You have Virgil and Boots, right? If Virgil and Boots fight later when they become champions, that's that buildup is going to be crazy. And if you promote it the right way, it's going to be even insane because you have, say Boots beats Xander, right? Now he has two bouts. If Virgil and Fedora end up fighting before, and then Virgil beats Fedora, like first of all, Virgil beats Fedora. Like his name is crazy. And then he has two bouts,
Yeah.
and then they come in and fight for undisputed. So first of all, you're fighting for undisputed. Second of all, you got two guys that have undefeated, that have power, that knock out people, and then they had a fight. They were supposed to fight at 47, or there was talks at 47. You can say they ducked somebody. You can, oh, hey, Virgil, Boots dug Virgil, whatever. And then you go up to 54, they're fighting. Now there's a big lawsuit. There's all this craziness. And if you promote that shit the right way, that's a big fight. That's a storyline, right? Now they're fighting as the two unified champions becoming undisputed. Like, that's a big
Oh
storyline.
yeah.
Then
Big
you
time.
have,
And the reason I also believe it's gonna happen is I think one or two things is gonna happen during the Xander fight. The first thing I think is gonna happen is Xander's gonna come in heavy and either lose his titles
yeah,
on the scale, and say he does come in heavy and he beats him.
yeah,
Those titles they'll be vacant titles. Boots can't get him because if he loses the fight, of course. I mean, I'm not saying he's gonna lose, but there's a chance that he does, especially if Xander comes in heavy. The fights I can almost guarantee you there's gonna be some drama over weight, and this will be Xander's last fight at 54. He's gonna go up to 60. He's too big for the division. It's just kind of like some inside shit that I know this is it for Xander. He's not gonna stay
yeah.
at 54 after this fight, so it's
And the
go in
60s
there,
wide, and 60s wide
get
open.
get that bag, get that bag, and whatever
Yeah,
happens, happens. And, I mean, I could even see the case being where, say, Boots, for instance, does lose the fight, but Xander stripped because of the weight or whatnot, and then you have Boots and Virgil not having to fight for those vacant titles, and then again, the winner takes, Pandora maybe later on down the line or next
yeah,
year, but I do see like the possibility of those fighters, Boots, Pandora, and Virgil, of one of them becoming undisputed or an undisputed fight between those guys.
yeah,
I can really see the high possibility of that happening, by next
yeah.
year.
And that's the drama boxing needs. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can, you're gonna say people are gonna say what they want to say. Oh, I'm professional, da da da. But it's all like if you come in overweight and you accept the fight, you accept the fight. Like you're gonna get paid extra, whatever, because you accept whatever you negotiate. Xander's gonna have to pay the fine, whatever, of missing weight. But like if you accept it, you accept it, and then now that it just builds drama, and then he moves on. win or lose, he goes to 160. 160 is wide open pretty much for him. There's like yeah, there's a couple fights up there, but there's I think it's wide open for him at 160 if he moves up, and then that builds the drama, right? And that's the storyline that we're talking about. That's what boxing. That's why when you had these fights back in the HBO Showtime era, there was always they always build a storyline. There might have not even been a storyline. They just made one up and they
They made
tell
it happen.
something. Yeah, and then you just make it. And that's how you
Like,
promote fights. You
you
got
know,
the
you
Ryan
look at
Garcia, Haney. You got Haney and Rowley because they've been talking shit to each other for how many years now since 135. Then you
yeah,
have Ryan and Rowley, like that 147 divisions all tied within each other. Now Tiafimo's moving up there. They all have been chasing each other for so long, and that's the storyline. That's the drama.
yeah,
These guys been at 135 together. They were at 140. Then they went to 147. They're all cousins. like they're cousins in boxing, right? They all grew up together, like
yeah.
amateurs to now. So that whole division is just drama and storylines tied into each other, and that's why that
You know,
division is the hottest right now.
and like you said, the storylines, man. That's what
Yeah.
makes the fights. I remember, when Greg Haugen fought Julio Cesar Chavez. It was a one line that Greg Haugen said during the press conference when they first announced the fights is that Julio Cesar Chavez only fights drunken Tijuana cab drivers. And next thing you
Yeah.
know, you got 115,000 crazy ass Mexicans going crazy in Azteca Stadium.
Yep.
I mean, and that's all it took, to build the fight. He fights nobody. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
fucking drunk cab drivers, a bunch of Tijuana drunk
Yeah.
cab drivers, and hey, everybody tuned in to see that dude get his ass beat.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
mean, and that's what it takes, and you got to sell it, and
Bernard
I
Hopkins dropping the Puerto Rican flag in Puerto Rico
oh yeah,
against Tito Trinidad, like that. All you had the whole island tuning in. You had all of New York tuning in
oh yeah,
to
man.
watch. But hey, but
You know,
that's what sells
was it
fights.
you know, was it Mayorga slapping Shane Mosley's girl in
Yeah.
the ass and then lighting the cigarette and Shane
Yeah.
Mosley slapping the
That's
cigarette out of his
crazy.
mouth. Bro,
That's
like
crazy.
drama shit, I mean, and
Yeah.
even, back in the days when Duran got into Leonard's head, and in the
Hmm.
first fight in Montreal, Duran was in his head, man, like just playing games, and
Yep.
hopefully we'll see these fights happen. I'm crossing my fingers that 4th of July when they have that first event that comes on TNT, with Matchroom and Queensberry, Top Rank, and Golden Boy all involved in that, that by then an announcement will be made that Virgil and Oscar have come to an agreement, and they announce the boots fight that night.
That would be
And
crazy.
that's what I'm hoping. That they can the people involved, especially Virgil's side, can just say like, we need to think about the now and think
Hmm.
about the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Bite the bullet, take it, let's do it. They're not, Golden Boy's in a long term now with the zone. There's a lot of people on the zone. There's really nowhere for Virgil to go. Especially, he doesn't want to stay on the shelf. He's
No.
damn near 30 years old. Like, you don't want to hold him on the shelf. When Mikey was on the shelf with Top Rank, he was on the shelf for 36 months, man. 36 months.
That's a long time.
And like that will kill you. That will kill your
Yeah.
career quicker than anything, inactivity. And Virgil needs to get back in the ring, and then Oscar can make a lot of money off Virgil. Virgil can make a lot of money. Even Rick, man, Rick can still make a lot of money too. And it's like
Yeah. It,
they
it's just
gotta
funny.
they
It's
gotta
just funny, like when Oscar says, "I'm never working with Rick again." It's like we know, like it's just the trolling. Like I know you're doing the clapback. It's just funny because like he just did a fight with Arnold Barbosa
with
Jr.
Arnold Barbosa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And you just like so it's just like it's people that don't know. It's just like, oh yeah, talk that shit, Oscar. Like, yeah. But it's like, bro, like how many fighters are signed to Oscar that work with Rick? Like a
A
lot,
lot.
a
A
lot.
lot.
So it's
Yeah, a
like,
lot.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just like, okay, like we all
Yeah,
know
exactly.
it's just talking just to talk, and then behind the scenes is behind the scenes is something different. Like there are. Hopefully something gets done sooner than later. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of like let's put our egos to the side for a little bit. Let's get these fights done. Let's make some money. Like let's do it the right way where everybody's happy. Let's make some money. And that's what
Yep.
it comes down to.
Definitely. Definitely, bro. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
man.
whenever you wanna to hop on, man, you wanna have a podcast, wanna hop on and talk boxing, man. I
Yeah.
can do it any night except Mondays, man. I got my own
Okay.
podcast on Monday nights, but
All right.
besides that, bro, like you wanna, just let me know. You wanna give me
Yeah.
a script before time. I do a little homework and I
Okay.
sit here and chop it up. I'm pretty good off the top of the head, but man, sometimes I will get
Yeah.
stuck if you throw
No,
a
I feel you.
curveball at me, like hey, what do you think of Tony Yoka? And this,
What?
he
Yeah,
won the
yeah.
gold medal in France, a few years back, but uh, yeah,
Yeah. For but so what I'm gonna what I want to start because I go live on Thursdays and either Thursday or Friday. I go back and forth on those days. I do with this cat from Philadelphia. His name's Strictly Boxing Talk, and so like I
okay,
kind of for him is like because we're polar opposites,
yeah,
especially with like he tries to be not biased, and I'm a fan at first. So if there's a fighter that I like, I'm gonna be a little. I really don't care. Like I'll say it, especially
yeah,
like cats that's been on the podcast. Like of course, like they've shown me love. They've been on the pod. Like so, like especially also I'm both. I'm Mexican and I'm Puerto Rican. So like I like
oh man,
yeah. Like I go
yeah,
back and forth. So with the Xander and Boots fight, like he's from Philly, so he's a Boots guy. So like we go back and forth. I'm riding with my Puerto Rican. I'm riding with, so like it's like and also like I'm not dumb either. You know, like I watch fighting, so I know, but I see an avenue for Xander to win that fight. It's like everybody's just like tossing Xander aside right now. Like, hey, Boots is gonna walk over him. Like, hey man, like I don't see it. Like Xander's not gonna stand right in front of you and just let you
nah,
hit him. He's not gonna,
nah,
and he's a bigger dude. Like he's a big guy. Like he's been hit clean by guys at 154 that are probably walking in the fight 170. So like
yeah,
he takes those hits. Yeah, like so it's like, oh, but Boots got power. He's fast. He this. I'm like, yes, I know. I understand, but he's moving to he's only had what one fight at 154. Like he's not proven at 154 at all.
nah.
So it's like,
Yeah,
hey,
there's divisions
it,
for a reason, man. I mean,
yeah,
like,
his weight classes, like all that 1, 2, 3. Look at what when Ryan came in 3 pounds over for Devin Haney. Those 3 pounds make a fucking difference when you're trying
big
to
time.
cut that weight. Those last 3, 2, 1 pounds that you're cutting, that's the difference of being like not being able to recover it to 100%. So Ryan's like, nah, I'm gonna save these 3 pounds. I'm not gonna kill my body. When I get into that fight, I'm 100%. Haney probably had to kill himself to get down to the weight, and he probably went into the fight at like 89%, 92%. Like he wasn't 100 because you're
Yeah,
because he's a big guy too, right? It's hard for him to cut that weight. Like that's the thing. Like it's all when it comes to boxing, it's not just strategy in the ring; it's strategy outside of the ring. It's you need to get to that fight as close as you can to 100%. And nobody's never 100% because of the weight cuts, because of the training, because of the sparring, like all because you're getting older. Like all these little bruises, all these little like minor injuries, they add up. And so
and for the fans
yeah,
tuned in, man, what Mike is saying is 100% right. And if you guys don't believe me, turn into some of these Zupa fights. With them only having 8 divisions, there is no more junior divisions. It's
yeah,
lightweight at 135, and then it's welterweight at 147.
yeah.
So you're either
That's
gonna
gonna
have
be
somebody
crazy.
killing themselves to stay at 47
Yeah.
instead of fighting at 160, or
Hmm.
you're gonna have guys that are used to fighting at 135 that can't make weight, like somebody like Kane Sandoval, and has to
Yeah.
fight at 47 against somebody like you said that's walking around at
Yep.
165 when he's walking around at 140,
Yeah.
150. And
That's
it
crazy.
makes a difference. It
It
makes
does.
the weights make a difference, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's either going to be one or the other. It's going to be somebody killing themselves to stay at the division they're in, or
Or
somebody
moving up.
that's not used to being that heavy and
Hmm.
having to move up and not no fighting at a catchweight. You're going to fight at welterweight.
Yeah.
You can't make 35. You're fighting. You're 12
Yeah.
pounds heavier now.
And that's what makes
So,
Terrence Crawford move to 168 so like damn, like he was able to put in
exactly.
he was able to put on that weight and still be able to fight like he fights. And
Yeah,
like didn't look like anything. Like it didn't
yeah.
look like like he still looked good. He's still able to move, still able to take the shots, still able to give the shots. Like it's just do you live in the States? Hold on. Emma.
That's
Ah,
bullshit.
oh
Revote
yeah, no.
project.
Yeah, no.
Some spamming shit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, but I think the first time the weight divisions really opened my eyes of how fighters were moving up and whatnot was when Mikey Garcia fought Spence. I went to Texas for
Oh,
that fight and seeing just the difference in Mikey from 135 to 147 was like Jesus, man. Like
yeah,
he got schooled bad, against Spence, and I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I think Spence could have actually knocked him out if he wanted to that fight, and
yeah,
it just he kind of took his foot off the gas pedal a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you have weight divisions for a reason.
yes, for
So
sure.
definitely. But nah, yeah, like I said, I think both of us being West Coast guys, both of us knowing each other,
Yeah.
running in the same circle out here in LA. I
Yeah,
mean,
so what else? What
anytime you want me
before
on.
before I went on the tangent about weights, because like that's like I really don't like cutting weight. Like I wrestled, so I used to have to cut weight and shit, and like I hate it, and
Yeah,
it's just like because you got people the weight it's the word weight bully, like that shit's real. All right, before I go on another crazy
yeah,
tangent
yeah,
about the weight cuts. The point was on Tuesdays. I'm good. Today was the first Tuesday live that I've done, but I want to start doing Tuesdays, and it's just gonna be boxing news. So like, just like
yeah,
whatever updates, and we can kind of just chop it up like what's going on around boxing. The Thursday live that I do with the other guys more of a debate. It's the debates because we're like different,
yeah, yeah,
and so
yeah.
yeah, so that's just like a debate live, and then so if you're down, we can come on Tuesday
Tuesday,
nights. Tuesday
yeah,
nights, yeah, and we can just boxing
we can
news.
chop it up. Boxing news,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely,
yeah,
man. We can talk
for
about it.
sure.
Like what's hot on boxing, what fights are coming up, what rumors are out there,
Yeah, all
you
that.
know, all that stuff. Not definitely, and then like even the morning of, like I'll just shoot you a text or whatever, and then I'm gonna shoot you my number through the inbox. I don't think you got my number, but I'll
No,
inbox it to you, log me in, and
yeah,
then like I could just say, hey, like this is what I got going into tonight or whatever, and then
yeah, and then
you
I'll,
shoot
I'll
me
tell
what
you,
you got.
and then I'll pull it up. So like if you have like little images or something, you can send them to me. I can have them on my email,
Yeah,
and I can pull them up on the screen, and so like people
yeah,
have a visual of see what we're talking about. I'll let you know, hey,
yeah,
I want to talk about this and this, and you let me know what you want to talk about, and we just post it up, and then
yeah, and then and then I'll push it on Supreme, and then you can push it on yours, and then that way
yeah,
every Tuesday night boxing talks with the casual expert and Supreme, and
yeah,
yeah, man, I'm down.
for sure. And then I can clip it up too. I can try get some clips, and we can post that too if you
Yeah,
want.
oh yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
All right,
for
brother.
sure.
Well, thank you for
Uh,
having me on tonight, and like I
no,
said,
thank you.
I'll stay in contact. I'm gonna hit you through the DM and give you my number.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
All right, man.
man.
Appreciate you.
Good night. All right.
All right, everybody. Make sure you follow Supreme Boxing Talk. Follow Stacks Ringside, Mike Theory CA,
Hey,
Casual Experts Podcast.
real quick before we go,
Yeah.
um, two things that I do PR for. I do PR for DMG Boxing. So if you're ever down to go to a show at Thunder Studios in Long Beach, let me know. I'll
Yeah.
get you locked in. And
Let
then
me know.
April 14th and April 15th, I do the PR for the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. So
Okay.
we got a good class coming up, man. That we're inducting Mikey Garcia, Raul Marquez,
Oh, dope.
Antonio Tarver, Paulie Ayala, Triple G. So
Oh, shit.
you and Icon are more than welcome
Yeah.
to join us out there. The
Yeah.
Friday night before we have the meet and greet, then we have like a little like we're gonna have like a bowling tournament that's
Dope.
exclusive to like the Hall of Famers and to like the media and stuff.
Yeah.
I'll like and then we have the gala the next day, the induction gala the next day, but I'll give you more info on that.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
save that
That's
weekend,
dope.
August 14th, August 15th in
Yeah.
Vegas. It's going to be at the Orleans this year. So
Okay.
I'll lock you guys into, but we'll chop it up more about that too later, bro.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, I'm down for all of that stuff. Like I'm down for everything.
Oh
So
yeah.
just let me know. Yeah, shoot me your number, and then we'll lock in.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man.
All right, man.
Hey, make sure you follow, like,